Let's go Badgers first because they're fresh on my mind. So John Tonje, what he's been able to do has invigorated that offense, and they're playing open and free and fast, and they're getting into the paint. That was a fun game to watch yesterday. Whenever they beat Pitt, and even though Pitt lost, Pitt's good. I think that goes without saying. And damn it, if it ain't for Wisconsin, like beginning of the year, I think I picked them 11th, 12th, or something in the Big Ten, and I just wrote a note beside that, and I said, they'll finish better than this, and we don't know why, but they will. And sure as shit, here Wisconsin is again, has a really, really good team, and they just grinded it out last night. And by the way, watch the game last night. Matt McCall's really good at doing games. The more I watched, the more I enjoyed watching Matt McCall call a game. So really good. Congratulations to him. Got to play a lot of golf up there at the Greenbrier. But you look at what Wisconsin's been able to do, 7-0. That Pitt game, they win Arizona at home. They played Pitt yesterday on a neutral floor and win. My gosh, guys, like what a fun team to watch. And typically you see Wisconsin, you're like, how's their offense going to be? Are they going to have to slow it down to a crawl?
That ain't what we're asking this year, T.O.
That's not what we're asking.
Are they going to actually be able to get stops?
Yeah, John Tonje is a freaking dude. And they had some other guys play well. John Blackwell was good. Some of these different players were just – it seems like they have different guys step up all the time. But I think Wisconsin's going to be a load to handle this year.
Let me just – before you go, Fanda, I just want to piggyback on something, T.O., because if there is a concern for me with this Wisconsin team, and I don't even know if this is something that I'm actually worried about, and maybe I'm just overthinking it, but it feels like so much of what they do is let's get the ball to Tonje. He's going to put his head down. He's going to get to the line. He's going to draw a foul, and he's going to shoot free throws. And I just wonder if that's something that is consistently sustainable at the level that he wants to be able. Like, are you going to be able to win games by building your offense around John Tonje free throws? Does that make sense? That's the one thing that I'm kind of looking at it like, well, that might be a concern long term.
If you get there, you get there, especially at home where people are very willing to give Wisconsin the whistle at their place. So I think they're really good, man. I'll never frown on a guy for being physical and getting downhill and then forcing officials to make a call.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Watching that game last night, the way that Wisconsin executed their offense in the final 10 minutes of the game against a Pitt team that entered number 11 in KenPom defense was really extraordinary to watch. Now, Damian Dunn exited the game just 2 minutes in. Tough for Pitt to lose him in this game because Dunn makes a difference defensively.
He had an ankle injury and a hand injury on the same play. That's tough, man. That's
yes.
tough.
And they missed his toughness. They missed his ability to guard. I thought, to T.O.'s point, Pitt played very well. Wisconsin was just better. And that speaks to Wisconsin. A couple things. Number one, John Blackwell. He had 14 points, but it felt like 14 big ones. Down the stretch, I thought he made some really key plays. This was a night where Max Klesmit did not shoot the ball well at all. He was 1 for 7. But John Tonje, right now, is one of the best players in college basketball. And he would be up for National Player of the Month if we gave that out. Because he's got 2 30-plus point games, and they've come against Arizona, 41, and they've come against Pittsburgh in a championship game of an MTE. When you score, these matters, and he's come up huge. Kamari McGee steps in off the bench, delivered for Wisconsin. He's taken a leap. This is a guy who was a non-factor really last year, averaged a bucket a game, and now he's averaging closer to 8 points a game. Last night he had 10. And I thought he could have transferred, Kamari McGee. He really could have. Nothing was stopping him from transferring, and he didn't. And he's helping this team right now off the bench, a bench that doesn't have a ton of firepower, but McGee's giving them that. And Stephen Crow, if nothing else, he's a really good rebounder and he's physical. So they have a nice mesh, but offensively, they've got veteran players who know their strengths. And with Tonje, I agree. We didn't talk about him as this marquee transfer, but the guy has played 6 years of college basketball, And he's played, for a Colorado State program that won a lot of games. Nico Medved does a great job. He goes to Missouri. Obviously, it does not work out. But now at Wisconsin, Greg Gard entered this year with pressure on him to win some ball games. But he does a very good job of scheming for his best player or two. He did this with Johnny Davis. He does a very good job of scheming for his go-to guy to get the ball downhill in an advantageous spot. And Wisconsin, until somebody in the Big Ten figures it out, and the Big Ten's a tough league, there will be coaches who figure some things out. It is. It's a tough league. In fact, Wisconsin's Big Ten opener is going to come against Michigan, and then they're going to Marquette. So the tests don't stop. When they go to Marquette, that's one of the best games of the season in college basketball to date. But they've got a great setup with Tonje. They can play through Blackwell a little bit. When Klesman's hitting threes, they're a really tough out. Credit to them. They're as big a surprise in the sport as any, because I thought, to T.O.'s point, they finished like 8th or 9th in the Big Ten. They could win the Big Ten.
The biggest thing that I take away when thinking about this Wisconsin team, especially that game last night, is that Pitt is a really good, really tough, really physical defensive team. And for about the last 25 minutes, Wisconsin did whatever they wanted offensively.
Yes.
It felt like if Pitt got a stop, it was because Wisconsin missed the shot that they wanted to make. And then half the time they ended up getting the loose ball or getting the offensive rebound. I was really, really blown away with how good and how impactful they were offensively on a team where, like, you just look at this roster and you're not sitting there and saying, T.O., holy smokes, they have nothing but offensive weapons on this roster. I think you would probably make the argument that Pitt has, if you were drafting like the best offensive players on a team, you would probably take the Pitt guys over the Wisconsin guys.
I agree with that. However, you said we don't do a team of the month or an All-American team of the month. Why aren't we doing that with Field 68? That's a good idea.
Yeah, let's do it. That's a great call.
Fanta, that's a good idea. Fanta, good call. We should be doing that for first team All-American November. I think that's a good one. I think John Tonje needs to be on that list. He's been awesome.
without a doubt. I think there's there are some guys. Janai Broom is one of them. I think Cooper Flagg is one of them. There are guys that are probably in the mix with him, but he is right there in terms of national.
Well, I mean, doing what he did to Arizona in a big game, doing what he did to Pitt in the finals of the Greenbrier.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, shoo, buddy.